There's been a significant judgment from the Allahabad High Court in the case of the Gyanvapi Mosque title disputes. Remember that there are more than one disputes that are in circulation, if I can use that word. But the Allahabad High Court has given a crucial judgment. What it has essentially said, to break it down in layman terms, essentially, is that multiple challenges by the Gyanvapi Mosque committee to a batch of civil suits that have been fought before courts in Varanasi, those challenges are not maintainable. Basically, that the challenges have been rejected and that those civil suits can go ahead. That is what it is in terms of what the Allahabad High Court has said. Again, I'm saying this, in very layman language. It's much more complicated than that. And as ground reporters who have gone to Varanasi to cover the Gyanvapi case, I think one does understand that it's so difficult to actually convey what is actually happening on the ground, given the stakeholders, the sensitivity of the issue, and the fact that there are such multiple strands to the Gyanvapi case. But in layman terms, essentially, yahi hua hai, this is what has happened. That the Allahabad High Court has said that all the civil suits in this case can go ahead. They can be fought in the civil courts in Varanasi and in the other courts where they are being fought. The first challenge or the first civil suit in this case was filed in 1991. Now, in that case, the Allahabad High Court has asked the Varanasi court that is hearing the case to finish the hearing in 6 months. Ki bhai, aap 6 mahine mein kariye, you do it in 6 months. And after that, one can obviously look at what kind of judgments come through. Now, just to refresh everyone's memory, while the 1991 case, like I said, is the first case that disputed the nature of the Gyanvapi Mosque and said that the Gyanvapi Mosque land should actually be transferred to the Hindu side. This was filed on behalf of Lord Shiv by 3 people. While that is the main case, the Gyanvapi Mosque has come back into focus, so to say, in the last 2 or 3 years because of another suit. I mean, it's almost an adjunct suit. It says the same thing, but again, just to go back to 2021, because I used to be posted in Uttar Pradesh right now. I'm in Delhi right now, but that time I used to be in Uttar Pradesh and remember covering this case very vividly. So in 2021, five women petitioners actually went to a court in Varanasi and said that, look, there are shrines of Ma Shringar Gauri and other shrines inside the Gyanvapi Mosque complex, closer to the western wall of the mosque. And we actually want year-long access to worship those shrines. At that time, currently they have access once a year to worship those shrines. And they said that, look, we want year-long access to it. Now, that led to one hearing after the other in the Varanasi district court, one of the courts in Varanasi. And finally, a judge gave an order for a court commissioner-led survey at the Gyanvapi Mosque. And that was the first time this issue again came back into prominence. And that's when, as journalists, all of us had to rush to Varanasi. I remember our repeated trips to Varanasi. Of course, it's a city where, one wants to go. It's a very vibrant city. But one did remember that you had to go to those civil courts. You had to cover hearing after hearing. Now, I remember that when that court commissioner-led survey started, there was a lot of ruckus. The media tried to gain access, etc., etc. There were multiple hearings in the court. The Mosque committee went up to the Supreme Court of India, but the court said that, look, it can continue. Finally, a report was filed. I remember that on the day it was filed, it was leaked by lawyers from the women petitioners to the media, and that again led to a different kind of atmosphere, with everyone reporting bits and strands of what that report said. The Mosque committee again appealed before Supreme Court. Eventually the Supreme Court said that, look, the legal process should go ahead. Now, at some point of time last year, when the cases were transferred to the Varanasi district judge, the district judge actually ordered an ASI survey, a survey by the Archaeological Survey of India, basically to look at whether the mosque was built on a pre-existing Hindu structure. Now, four of these five women who had gone to court in 2021 filed a separate petition before the district judge, who was now hearing the case, saying that, look, this mosque is built over a pre-existing Hindu structure and that the only fair resolution to a title dispute can be if the ASI actually determines whether this is actually the case. And the judge then said that, yes, that looks to be the plausible way out, and this is what should happen. Again, a challenge went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that, no, the survey can continue. That survey did continue. Multiple extensions later, the ASI has filed that report before a court, and the next steps are expected in the next 1 or 2 days. Now, in effect, maybe a question that our viewers may ask is, what happens now? What happens now after this Allahabad High Court judgment? The simple answer is status quo remains, nothing changes. These civil suits continue to be heard, and perhaps the media continues to report in the way that it is on the Gyanvapi case. Also, before I end, just one thing, just to give you a sense of Varanasi and why both the Gyanvapi Mosque and the Kashi Vishwanath Temple are landmarks and what the history is. So anyone who's gone to Varanasi, many of you would know the Godalia Chauraha, which is the Chauraha that leads to, or the crossing that leads to the Dashashwamedh Ghat to one side and to the Gyanvapi Mosque on the other side. Now, if you go there, you will find, I mean, you look at the nature of the construction, there's the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple, and right next to it is the equally landmark Gyanvapi Mosque. They are next to each other, they share boundaries. While these disputes have gone on for the longest time, the area there is totally peaceful. Uh, Muslims offer namaz on Fridays inside the Gyanvapi Mosque complex, and a lot of Hindus, they come to the Kashi Vishwanath temple and they worship. And this is something that has gone on for many, many, many years. That character has not changed. While these title suits or the legal disputes play out before the Varanasi court. So this, in a sense, is what the Allahabad High Court's judgment today means. It essentially means status quo in the sense that the cases filed by these petitioners over the Gyanvapi title dispute, or over appropriating perhaps the Gyanvapi Mosque, they will continue to be heard in courts.